So I'm excited to promote the music that you're putting out to our listeners because we have a lot of people who, well, basically the podcast is about the 90s, but we're promoting what people are doing now as well. So what age were you when you started saying, I want to make music?
Um, I don't know. I always kind of was a thought. I was more interested in like acting when I was younger, as far as,
Mhm.
you know, as more of a path. But probably like 23, 24. So I started thinking about it, and
Mhm.
started slowly getting into it.
Okay, sweet. And who were your musical influences growing up? What were you listening to that inspired what you'd make?
So it's kind of like most of my favorite like musicians and kind of inspirations, my music doesn't sound like much.
Hmm.
'Cause it's tough. Like when I was younger, like a lot of the stuff was just like rap and R&B growing up, like 90s, early 2000s, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's tough, but like my favorites are like Frank Sinatra, Bob Marley, Marvin Gaye. Like we have a song on the last project we did. It's called Patience, that we try to do like a little crooner style, like Frank
Sweet.
Sinatra style too. My cousin Dan produced all the Dan Wahlberg produced all the tracks on that, on the
Mm-hmm.
Leading Man, and it was a lot of like R&B-ish, rap-ish kind of stuff. But he said like, that's what you love. Let's try to do that. I was like, I don't know how to do that. And he goes, we'll figure it out. So that there's one kind of like that. But those are the people I like, and then all sorts of rap and R&B groups.
Which is nice because it kind of creates like a big melting pot of sound where you can create your own image. And that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's my musical taste is changing like all the time. Like, got into like Waylon Jennings recently, and you know,
Old school country,
but
outlaw country.
yeah, I like the. I'm not a huge country guy, but the older country stuff I've gotten into lately, I like it a lot.
It's a lot better, I think, than the modern country.
Yeah, I think so. It's a lot more. It's like more country style. More, I feel like it's more popish and like kind of rap stuff in country today.
Yeah. I had Ace on the show and he was raving about your new music and what you'd been up to. This was back a few months ago. So
Yeah, I think he's
I'll let,
my biggest fan, I want to say.
he's such a
And
good guy.
yeah, and he's great and helping me. He's helped me a lot too. Like, I think the first thing I ever recorded was actually with him. So,
Yeah.
and we were in his apartment, and you could hear like the buses go by because it was 90 degrees. So he had to open the windows up, and we're in Boston with the public buses going by, so you can hear it. It was just like a cover or something, but it's funny. You can hear the buses in the back. But yeah, he's always staying in contact with me, giving me, um, confidence boost, saying, keep at it, keep at it.
Mhm. And the latest single that came out, is that Around the Way Girl?
Yeah, so we did that. We put that out as a single. Again, that was my cousin Dan produced that, and we have Larry Thomas on there too. Larry produced some of my stuff too, and he does a lot of like guitar and bass work on the tracks. We like to use like real instruments, and yeah, so that was a single, and that was on the Leading Man, that little project too. And yeah, we did that. We did that in Larry's basement in Roxbury. So a lot of
That's sweet.
yeah, home studio stuff.
Everyone's doing home studios though. It's really like it's the way to go, especially when you first like are doing tracking and then going from there. But home studios can do pretty much anything nowadays, so it makes sense to
Yeah.
do it.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. And Larry has a whole setup of like a lot of older stuff, and it's
Mm.
you get everything you'd ever need. And then my cousin Dan shows up with just his Apple, and it's got everything on there too. So we're like, what is? It's crazy how much you can do just on this thing that we're talking on. I'm like,
Do you do
yeah,
some production yourself?
not really. I got Logic, and I tried to kind of teach myself, and it didn't go well. And when I work with with Dan and Larry and stuff like that, they're so good at it already
Mm.
that it's just like, let me just let you guys do that. I'll worry about trying to write and make it sound like I can sing to some level. So
The songs are good. Like I think so far from the ones I've heard off of Spotify, I Thought So was my favorite.
Yeah, yeah, I like that one a lot. I made them all, so I like them all. I Thought So, I think is a real catchy one.
How many tracks do you got up right now?
Um, let's see. I want to say 17, but I forget because there's 2 projects
Mhm.
and there's a couple. Let me double check. Because we have some stuff that's not released yet too, so I'm always getting confused. And then we have stuff that's older that hasn't. It's just working and so yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14, 20, 23. I think
Mhm.
23 from myself, and then I have 2 on there where I'm featured with a friend of mine from the neighborhood, Michael Keogh. He's a singer. He's also from Dorchester too. He's really talented. He doesn't need the auto tune like I do, but so those 2 are called Toxic and Around Here. So those are 2 tracks that would be on my list too,
Okay,
and
sweet.
he's featured on a song called Forgive My Behavior that's on The Leading Man.
I'm gonna share some clips of the songs too, so that our listeners get a chance to hear what it's all about. It'll be awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. What's your writing process like? Like, do you do a lot
So
of collaboration or do you just do it mostly yourself?
so it's mostly myself. Like I said, my cousin Dan, he's super, super talented. He works with a couple other good young artists also. But I'll mostly go with it myself, depending on, sometimes we'll sit down and he'll just start with a beat and I will, just listen to it go and try to come with the melody from there.
Mm.
Certain things will come into, sometimes it's word just comes to me and I go, oh, that's like an old song, like Around the Way Girl, like LL Cool J had a song
Yeah.
like that too, and certain things. But if something just clicks, I just try to go with that and then try to, whatever I kind of come up with for a melody on the beat, whatever that kind of line is,
Mhm.
like Around the Way Girl, so I go, okay, let me try to write my lyrics to fill it in about something, about a girl that would come from the neighborhood and, go down the wrong path or something of the sort. And,
Mm.
sometimes I'll just, I'll be riding and, I don't know, like a little melody, like a little hook will come into my head and that I can use Logic for. I'll run back to the house, put the headphones on, plug the mic in, record the melody on nothing that I have in my head, and then we can
Yeah.
kind of work from there. Um, so all different sorts of ways. And then if I just come up with lines that I think are like kind of catchy or might stick in your head, I'll just write it down and go, I'll fit that in somewhere. I'll fit that in somewhere.
That's the thing about songwriting is you don't want to lose that hook in your brain. You got to get it down right away.
Oh
Or-
yeah, I someone was out front of my house, so like a family member of mine. I live across the street from a cousin of mine, and they're out front, and I just went flying right past and like, is everything okay? I'm like, yes, I'll call you in 5 minutes. But I needed if I start talking to you, I'll never get this back.
Do you have any collabs you'd like to make? Like, what would be like the dream collaboration for you?
It's tough to say, just because most of the stuff I listen to is older, really, at this point.
Mm.
Like I'll go through, Sade. Sade. Let me say,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm just looking at my recently added. We got Dean Martin, Elvis, the OJ's, David Ruffin, Randy Travis, Stevie Wonder.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
The
love how
Dream.
all over the map that is. That's perfect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Dream's more recent that I'm a big fan of.
Mm.
And then like I have like Kodak Black in there, so it's not like
Yeah.
it's all over the place.
Did you go see that Elvis movie?
I did see it. I did.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was
I
Tom Hanks's voice kind of threw me for a loop in it, but I enjoyed it.
I have friends who went to see it and they didn't even realize it was Tom Hanks until I like told them like later.
Yeah, well, you would if you didn't know he was in it, you'd be like, "Who? What was that again?"
No doubt. Now, you were talking about acting a bit too. So, what has your experience in the acting world been like so far? And what was one of your favorite projects?
Um, it hasn't been the easiest, because I just assumed it would be. You
Mm,
assume if, you know, my family is who it is, it would just be such. And the first role I ever had was I had a speaking part in Patriots Day. It was a big. I didn't have a huge part, but I was in a little bit, had some lines, and
mm,
I just figured, oh, that's it. Everybody's gonna be calling me now. It's just gonna happen. So, I waited around for that for a couple years and didn't realize that's not how it works. So I started
mm.
taking classes a little bit, and in the past year, I've done a bunch of little short independent films or student films, and I did a couple where because my favorite movies are The Godfather, Casino, like that's all my favorite shows, The Sopranos. So
Nice.
I had two roles where I play like a wise guy, and like these, one of them's just like 15 minutes, the other one's like a half hour, and that's I love doing that.
Mm.
You just get to act like Paulie from The Sopranos, or so
Mhm.
just get to act like a tough guy. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool that you have like different facets too, like with music and acting to keep you busy, right? What's your fitness routine like? Because I know that you stay pretty much in shape, hey?
Yeah, I do. Some people dread the gym, but it actually just makes me feel better than anything. So like,
Mhm.
I usually another job of mine is I do personal training and group training at a gym down the street. It's called Body Plus Fuel. Buddy of mine, a couple years older than me from the neighborhood, opened it a few years back, and I do that. So I'll do some classes in there, which is like a mix of cardio and high intensity interval. But I'm a big like I'm old school. I like to lift weights. I
Yeah.
like to do that. Like I'll play basketball, do a little boxing, but just if I'm bored, I'll jump rope or something. Like if I
Yeah.
have downtime, like just do something just to keep moving. But I'm old school, really.
Do you
But
play sports much?
weightlifting, playing basketball,
Yeah.
boxing.
See, one thing I wonder about when going to the gym is all these circuit machines. And then there's
Mhm.
some of these gyms that say, oh, like 30-minute workout guaranteed, you
Yeah.
go from one machine 1 minute to the next. Do those machines actually do anything for a person?
I'm sure they can if you don't stop working for that whole 30 minutes and you go 6 times a week and everything. But with the thing when they have those gyms and they say that if just 30 minutes, if you're nonstop, is a great workout.
Mm.
But if you're at Planet Fitness and it says 30 minutes and you're checking your phone or you're talking to, Billy or Susie from down the street that you bumped into or so like, that's a problem a lot of people have. I'll go into a gym and I'll just look and this guy's been sitting on the machine for 30 minutes talking to somebody else. Well,
Yeah.
you can say you went to the gym for 2 hours today, but
And
you
then
know,
take selfies in the mirror that you're at
yeah,
the gym.
yeah, yeah. I have one gym that's crazy. I have people are in there, just everybody's recording themselves. I'm like, you're not lifting that much weight. You shouldn't be. This is not a world record you're going for. Why don't you put the camera down and just keep working?
Good advice. Solid.
Yeah.
Um, what are the pluses of coming from such a huge family? Like, how many cousins do you have?
So I believe I counted, and I'm including my Wahlberg side, and then my father's last name is Baker. So they're
Mhm,
also from Dorchester too. But so my mother was one of nine, as I'm sure you know.
mhm.
Um, but my dad was one of 13. So I have about 70 first cousins.
That's
If you
awesome.
include both. And I mean, it's great just because that you have so many people that you love and love you, and just so many different On my dad's side, it's not as many like different walks of life and views of the world because pretty much everyone just stayed in Dorchester.
Mhm.
Whereas, you know, my Wahlberg side is, you know, we have people in Florida and Chicago, LA and New York. And so,
Mhm.
you know, it's cool to go and visit all those places and, you know, see the, you know, different walks of life, meet all, you know, meet all their friends and things like that. So it's I'm very happy to come from a big family. I should say that.
It's pretty sweet. You know, I'm up in Canada, west side of Canada, and I think there's only two Wahlburgers in our country, and they're both in
Yeah.
Toronto.
Oh, we have to expand then.
I mean, we've got a big mall here. I was like, you know what? I'll run the place. I've been working in restaurants forever. I could take it on. No problem.
Yep, absolutely. I love it. We got to get myself and Ace working on that.
I'm
And well,
in. I'm in.
hey,
Um,
absolutely.
what was your experience like working on the cast as a cast member of Wahlburgers, sorry.
Um, it was really special.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's always a cool thing to be on TV, but then, you know, I get to work so close with my grandmother, who I was, you know, always so close with. And
Mm.
I'm sure someone else will tell you different, but my mother already says it. And I think everyone else knows it, that I was actually her favorite grandchild. I can't say who her favorite child was. I don't know for sure, but I think that's a fact. But that was really special and really nice. You know, getting to work, especially with so close with her, but you know, with even with my other uncles too, like Paul and Donnie and Mark, it's so, you know, they're all so busy that,
Yeah.
you know, you don't get to spend as much time as you'd like. And it's, you know, and but the good thing about that is with our family, it's because our schedules are so full. It's not because we don't want to see each other like some families have. But,
Mm.
you know, we're getting to be on TV. I'm getting to be on TV, and they're flying me out to Vegas to spend 2 days with my Uncle Paul, which was, you know, things like that were really nice. And, you
Yeah.
know, a nice thing that a lot of people never get the chance to do, which is really special.
And so are a lot of the family still there in Dorchester? Are you in Dorchester?
I am, yes. I am, and my Uncle Bob is still in the area, but everybody else is a little bit like Paul's out just a little bit farther out here, but he's still
Mhm.
close. And then, you know, everybody else is everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I think Donnie's on a nonstop tour. I don't know, you know.
Yeah,
Mark's
you just
probably
wrapped.
yeah, Mark's probably getting blown up in Australia for some movie or something like that. So
It's Donnie's birthday today, so this is a good way
it
to
is, yes. I
give him a
texted him
birthday shout
earlier.
out.
It is. Happy birthday. Like I sent him a couple pictures of us of when I was a kid. My mother sent me some that were pretty nice.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had that experience with the Wahlburgers TV show too, because I mean, it was really cool for us to get to know your grandma. Because I mean, she
It,
was
it,
already so loved by the fans, but to see all
oh
those
yeah.
facets of her.
Yeah. That was, I don't know if you can see this here. That's me and Don.
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah, she was just an incredible lady. You know, I've you know, just the most giving person I've ever
mm,
met, really. You know, would you know, the old saying, give you the shirt off your back, but she really would. Just yeah, and it was just really special. And she had there's a story that it was new. I think New Kids had just recently broken up, but it for you know when they did in like '95 or whenever it was,
mm,
and you know, but they would still have fans come to the house that Donnie bought for himself and Alma, but he wasn't living there anymore. And there was a group of probably 15 New Kids fans from Brazil
oh
out.
wow.
They were out front of the gate, like, oh, whatever, and they were just sitting there for a couple hours. My grandmother was coming back from food shopping or something or other, and she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Donnie doesn't live here anymore. He won't be back for months." They're like, "Oh no, we came all the way from Brazil." So she goes, all right, just come inside. And she, made them all coffee and tea and showed them all sorts of old family photo albums and stuff like that, and spent a few hours with them. So, just little things like that, it's like, oh, geez, I know I'm not Donnie, but, you flew however, 8 hours from Brazil, come on in.
What a sweetheart.
Yeah. Yeah. She was
Yeah.
like that. I'll give you one more quick one that boosts her ego a little bit. I was,
Sure.
when the show was on, I was visiting her and she asked me to go to the grocery store with her. So we're walking through and a woman comes up and goes, I'm so sorry to bother you. I just wanted to say hi and how much I love you. You're the only other person I would do this to except for Pope Francis. And so she walks in, she just looks at me, the Pope, me and the Pope, huh? So that gave me a good laugh. That gave me a good laugh.
Oh, I'm sure you have like so many great stories about her. And so thanks you for sharing those.
Yeah, of course.
When did you become aware when you were younger of the impact your uncles had in the world of entertainment?
It's tough to really tell because Donnie's been big since before I was born.
Mhm.
And I guess when kids my age just started looking at me different when I would tell them my last name.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah, oh, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. The one I used to get asked a lot, like, do you have your uncle's autograph? I'm like, do you have your uncle's autograph? What do you what Hey uncle, can I have your autograph? I think that might be a little strange at Thanksgiving.
People say weird things sometimes. It's like, did you think before you even
They
came up with
do.
that? Uh,
Thinking isn't some people's strong point.
what are some of the places you would recommend to somebody coming to Boston to visit in like Dorchester, for example? What are some of your favorite spots?
Dorchester. There's a ton of little places like the Sugar Bowl Cafe is a great little spot for it's like breakfast. They have a full bar though. They have a little breakfast shop. It's
Nice.
nice to have to go Bloody Mary or something like that.
Brunch,
Yep,
mimosas.
exactly. Yeah. Then there's just a bunch, old little neighborhoody type spots. The Banshee's a fun little time, just an Irish pub.
Yeah.
Um, well, I mean, if they're staying for a few, they have to go to the Daily Market in Savin Hill.
Yeah.
That's a little plug. My uncle owns that. My uncle on the baker side of my family, but
Nice.
best grocery store in town.
Very cool. Very cool. One day I'll make it out there. Are you going to come on the cruise this year? You should.
I haven't heard anything about it, but if there's space, I may just have to. I think I was
There
supposed
is.
to go 2020, so
There is space.
uh,
I'm going for the first time, so come
uh,
come on the boat.
okay. We may just have to.
Yeah. So what can we see coming forward with the music? What are the goals for the rest of the year and going forward?
Um, I'm not 100% sure. I'm just gonna keep working on them. Keep working on, trying to get better. Same thing with the acting, trying to work and just trying to keep myself in the best physical shape possible in case I have a shirtless scene or something like that. you know, um, but really we have a couple tracks already done and, hopefully a couple more, another little project out by the end of the year, hopefully. And, I'm just hoping that, when something catches, people will listen back and listen to the other ones. Cause I think there's a couple that we have out that are just have
Mm.
really, really like tremendous potential. Um, there's a couple, we have one that's not released yet that's called Cool It Now, like new edition, which,
Sweet.
which it's myself and my cousin Dan actually makes a featured appearance on, which I think is a great one. But like, I think the song Lately is a great, great song. Like you said, yeah, I thought so.
Mhm.
Then, Around the Way Girl. My favorite is just called No Manners. So
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
we'll have to play a clip of No Manners.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. I think we may just have to.
well, thank you. I'm going to share your Instagram and all the music and everything with our listeners so that they can get to know you. And I'm just really happy you made the time today, Brandon. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.